In explosive new text messages submitted into evidence yesterday, actor Johnny Depp uses shocking language to multiple third parties about his ex-wife Amber Heard. We should warn you that some of this is graphic.
After you said, "Let's drown her before we burn her," Mr. Depp, you said, "I will f her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she is dead." That's what you said that you would do after you burned her and after you drowned her.
Is the slippery whore that I donated my jizz to for a while staying there?
You tell Mr. Baruch on October 18th, 2016, hopefully that rotting corpse is decomposing in the trunk of a Honda Civic, 2 exclamation points. Did I read that right?
You did.
Joining us now to talk more about this is criminal defense attorney Sara Azari. Sara, there's so much to talk about here, so I'm just going to say, you tell us what we should be focusing on after this really, bombshell of a day in court.
Hi, Brianna. Yeah, you know, we have to keep bringing this back to the op-ed. This is about the op-ed and whether Amber Heard was a victim of domestic violence. It was a bad day for Depp yesterday. The cross-examination was a modulated drip on his character and credibility. And however, we're at the beginning of this trial, and a lot of this can be explained. The idea that he's made inconsistent statements, lied about his alcohol abuse and drug abuse. You know, addiction is a disease, and denial and lies are part of that disease. They're symptoms of that disease. So all of this, I expect, can be explained. With respect to the video that we saw in his kitchen, he calls, assaulting things.
Actually, wait, Sara, can I pause on that? Because we have that video, so let's play it and then we'll talk about it.
Sure.
No, that's the thing.
You want to see crazy? I'll give you What's crazy? Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're crazy.
Have you drunk this whole thing this morning?
Oh, you got this going? You got this going?
I just started it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
What'd you think of that?
Awful. It is now. He's now looking like a completely different Depp than the one that has been on the stand testifying, and closer to someone who would engage in domestic violence. But we also have to remember that both of these individuals, Brianna, are saying that they're victims of domestic violence, and yet there's evidence on both sides that they have also perpetrated domestic violence. So at the end of the day, this jury is going to be tasked with deciding, is this a relationship of mutual combat, and how does that impact her statement in this op-ed that she's merely a victim of domestic violence? It sounds like we have two perpetrators.
I also think, Sara, that of course this is a legal case and you are focused on that as you should be. That there also seems to be a battle for public opinion going on here.
I think, Brianna, at the end of the day, all of the stuff that we've been seeing goes to the veracity of that op-ed and what Heard said. But that is the easiest element of defamation. The harder part is to prove actual malice and then the damages. We found out that he lost the gig with Pirates of the Caribbean before the op-ed, not as a result of the op-ed. And so he's got some hurdles to overcome. But to him, and this is one of the first things he said on the stand, what matters is his truth. It might not be the truth to this jury, but it's his truth. And I think that's what's going to matter to Hollywood. Hollywood is not holding its breath on the verdict of this case. Hollywood wants to hear his redemption, his cycle of abuse. How did he end up in this place in the first place? And so I think that's why he's come forward not once, but twice.
Yeah, I think that's important to him, and I think that's important to Amber Heard as well, for sure. Sara, I really appreciate you being on. Thank you.
Good to be with you.
We have some new